Good morning. How are you? It's 9:55 a.m. in Dallas, Texas, on the 22nd of June, 2021. I was looking through some information after I woke up with a very interesting sort of recharacterization of events that happened a little over 2 years ago now. And it turns out today there's another committee meeting, of course, regarding alleged business of Congress, presumably regarding the aging workforce. And I'm certain it would discuss matters related to age discrimination involving people that are considering themselves of work age. And I just want you to know I had every intention of honoring my ancestors and elders in society. I know that I've been very uh, prolific in pursuit of pension fraud and the implications, including the national and international security implications of pension fraud and what it means when pension fraud's allowed to persist. But I also hope you understand that I understood myself to be a part of a group of people that needed to be represented. And we were entitled to self representation as well. There's an article right now in the news that I came across after reviewing some other matters. I was interested in policy in this particular area. In one forum or in one point of reference, what's going on in the nation of concern has to do with immunity cards connected to demonstration of having been vaccinated and how that allows for greater mobility. While there's also some sort of legislative imbroglio ongoing in consideration of LGBT rights. These are very important matters. These are the kinds of things that are the predominant discourse in the United States in many regards. But there's another article about how people identified as Roma are fleeing Romania for the US Mexico border in order to help increase the likelihood that they'd be able to receive asylum. This is not a coincidence any more than all the other people amassed at the US Mexico border are. How many of them are seniors? How many of them are people that were elders in their community? How many of them are people that were leaders in their communities and then are going to be what when they get to the border? There's another article here that discusses how in March of this year, there was a bill presented in the Czech Republic about compensating Roma women $13,000 for being forced sterilized. This is similar to something that's been happening within the last 3 years, when the metric either 400 or then later 450 was announced as being distributed to seniors through Germany, people who are survivors of the Holocaust. But here's the problem. I've lived through more than a decade of somebody making some arbitrary decision that somehow I would have been considered to be what they would have thought would have been adequate compensation as their Holocaust reparations. And in the course of this, you completely destroyed my entire family lineage, my entire community, my entire political rights, my entire country for no just cause. And you also allowed for them to completely slander and misrepresent what happened on January 6th because you covered up for the auctions that were approved the year before. Are you auctioning off people who were identified as Capitol rioters as some sort of money laundering kickback scheme to ostensibly compensate women who were forced sterilized during the 70s? Is their demographic experience more compatible with how you've tried to characterize the so-called Capitol rioters? I apologize. I am 44 years old. I have not even been permitted to have a conversation with someone who is fertile. I'm sorry. I am still too capable of engaging my own analytical thought processes and actually being able to participate in ordinary, much less extraordinary political process for you to allow me to breed. I know this. You've made it very clear for the last 10 years you do not want women like me to have our own children. I'm very fertile, but it's important you isolate me so that you can continuously harvest me, including my literal eggs, every summer. It's coming. 2 years in a row, you've literally harvested my actual eggs using electromagnetic frequency. You're constantly terrorizing me. You steal everything I do, everything I create, and you give it to other people. You've been doing this for over 10 years. While you've been genetically engineering people that have legitimate, compelling political dissent, and you won't even let me have conversations about anything more than a select food product line with the seniors I'm allowed to be engaged by. You've been doing this for years. Is that what you're going to restitute these women? You're going to take people you've slandered and mischaracterized, and you're going to allow for that to be recirculated as some restitution? No. What you're going to try to do is co-conspire to get them to sign some sort of waiver, some sort of non-disclose. So all that they've already done, well, you apologized, just like you did in 2008, right? Right before you engaged a process for developing one of the world's most vicious and virulent biological weapons paradigms. I got all the evidence last night. Are you going to restitute these women when they get to the border? Any more than you restituted the other women? No, you're not! It's not yours! I think you're the ones with all your esteem and experience. How many people in Congress, in the Senate, how many of you qualify for senior fucking benefits? You thought you got to harvest the rest of us our entire lives to cover up for your crime? Is that the kind of discrimination you're going to supplicate today? I don't think you are. Your population removal agenda didn't fucking work.